Now, how to automate, okay? Know how to automate all aspects of your business, okay? Very, very important. Okay, and start with the easiest thing first, okay? The easiest thing to probably automate first is a simple email follow-up sequence. That's probably the easiest place to start. And a lot of people don't even have that. It's very concerning, okay? Why? Because probably at least 25% of all purchases made will come from a sequence, whether it's a 10, 12, 13 email sequence of value buy, value buy, value buy for a client that came through some kind of lead generation funnel. Okay, super, super important. And if you don't have some kind of follow-up system put in place, get it now, because you're doing your business a huge, huge injustice. And I've seen big companies that are not doing this. They're just not. They're not doing it, and it's very scary why they're not. But they're not. They could be increasing revenue by huge numbers. All right. So build your team to be accustomed to automation. Okay. If you have a small staff, make sure they're accustomed to working in automation. Okay. Teach them, train them how to work in automation. No sticky notes. Okay. No sticky notes. Businesses don't run off sticky notes and reminders. Businesses run off solid processes, updated CRMs, where you can have your finger on the pulse 24/7. I talked to two people today that one of my own personal clients wanted me to have a discussion with them because they were struggling with how to make some pivots during our craziness right now in the world. And after having that conversation, I mean, they didn't even have a lot of the basic things in place. Okay. Simple automation systems that you can put in place that are cheap. I don't recommend MailChimp. That's garbage. Stay away from that. I know a lot of people like to go there because it's cheap. Probably the cheapest follow-up system that won't cost you much would either be something like Aweber or GetResponse, something like that. That's probably about the cheapest, but still, decent. Well, you'll get good delivery rates with that, versus having some really, really high and expensive CRM system. Because you can use something like HubSpot, which it has a free element to it, and use plug and play different systems in with those. Okay, but whatever you do, make sure you plan that to scale. Because the last thing you want to do now, scale your company beyond a system and have to transition completely to something new. So you want to have something that is also scalable. For a follow-up system, Aweber is probably one of the best that really converts into most others. Okay, so just make sure your team is very accustomed to automation. Start it that way. Okay, don't try to build it on the fly. Start them on automation, doing things on automation. So now we want to start small and work bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. You can, just like we can scale a company monetarily, we can scale a company on automation too. Okay. It's the same thing. Think of scaling and growing a company. It's all in a sequence, right? So maybe you're starting out with a website that just has a contact me button, right? And that's how you follow up with your clients. Well, as you begin to scale, that's no longer going to work. Okay. There's other systems that you'll want to put in place. So you scale automation with scaling your company at the same time. Okay. You don't need to be, if you're a startup, you don't need Infusionsoft probably. Okay, it's too expensive. It's really high priced. I'm not a fan of that anyway, but you know, Entreport, there's another one. I've actually worked in Entreport. It's pretty simple to use. I don't know what their prices are, but you know, depending on where your life cycle is in your company, scale your company with your life cycle. Okay. That just external systems, right? External systems are all those systems. Nobody here is probably going to go out and create their own CRM system to support their company. We have to lean on third party softwares, apps, all these different things to support our companies. Okay. Lastly, what does automation do for us? You know, why? What's the point? Okay. The point is automation builds history. Okay. Builds history. It gives us statistics and it gives us trends. Okay. Whether we choose to use all those features, that's another thing. Okay. On a dashboard. But you can quickly identify statistics and trends in your marketplace of what we talked about over here. You know, what people are buying, when and how they're buying. Okay, important key factors. You can't run a business without knowing these things. I mean, at any point in time, I should be able to ask anybody that attends this training, I should be able to say, you know, what is your top line revenue for the last 2 weeks? What's your gross profit? Yada, yada. And you should just know that. Because I can tell you mine right now, off the top of my head. I know it as of today, what my company is doing. Okay. And it's important that you know that. How do you keep your finger on the pulse as a business if you don't know your numbers day by day? Because they're compounding. You should always be shooting for the next number the next day. The bigger number, bigger number, bigger number the next day, bigger number the next day. Very important. Challenge yourself to make that number bigger every single day. By God, I got $6,000 worth of sales today. Tomorrow it's going to be 7. Motivate your sales team. It's very important to definitely do those reports daily.